Hello, everyone, and welcome to Into the Obscure. As usual, my hosts are Tressa.
Hello.
Kara.
Hi.
And also myself, Jenny. Guys, we've got a really great show tonight. So we were originally supposed to have Mr. Dave Schrader, the one and only, but he has lost his voice. So no go on him. But he recommended this amazing woman, and I've been doing so much research on her over the past couple of days here, and she just seems delightful. I've watched like 4 or 5 podcasts that she's been on live. Just delightful. Her name is Cherise Williams, and she is a paranormal investigator, an author, and a spiritual guide with over 20 years of experience. What she does is she pairs spirituality and witchcraft with a level-headed approach to the paranormal. And by doing that, she has a very, very unique perspective on the field. We love talking to people at all the conventions that we go to. We love talking about ghost investigators, researchers, whomever. And everybody always seems to have some very differing opinions and practices, but they all kind of come together at the core center of it. So I cannot wait to see how she differs and how she comes together.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Should we introduce her?
I think we should get her in here.
Did you even say her name once?
Yes, Jenny? I did at the very beginning.
I wasn't paying attention.
That's on you, man.
All right, let's welcome Cherise Williams.
Yay!
Yay!
Everybody, clap.
Welcome.
The delightful Cherise Williams.
Seriously, that's pretty much it. Any of the podcasts that I was watching you on, you were just so pleasant and nice, and I have questions. I have lots of questions.
You have questions on my notes.
Why are you so nice?
Number 1. Number 2. Adorable. How?
No one knows.
Magic. I don't
know.
Well played.
Teach us your secrets.
All right. So, first of all, the most fascinating thing to me at this exact moment in time is that you have been practicing witchcraft for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I watched one of the podcasts that you were on was Mr. Dave Schrader's. Mm-hmm. And you explained a little bit about the differences between Wicca and witchcraft, mm-hmm. which, to be completely honest and transparent, I was a little bit confused about. Can you kind of explain that to people?
Yeah. So a lot of people think that Wicca and witchcraft are the same thing. And while they can go hand in hand, not everybody who is Wiccan is a witch, and not everybody who is a witch is Wiccan. So Wicca is a religious practice. They honor the wheel of the year. They honor the full moons, and so they do ceremonies and rituals. And just like most, main major religions, there's sets of guidelines that you're supposed to follow, and they kind of differentiate between the different branches of Wicca, kind of like how Christianity has Baptist and Lutheran. And they all kind of have the same core principles, but, they may do things a little differently at the Baptist church than they do at the Lutheran church. And it's the same thing with the different practices of Wicca as well. They all kind of have their differing things. But it's more about the rituals and honoring the earth and the changing of the seasons and things like that, and the god and the goddess. And so it's more just like ritual, a religion. Whereas witchcraft is a practice that is, you may honor the seasons and the wheel of the year and the god and goddess and other deities and things like that. But you could also be a Christian and be a witch. You can be a Buddhist and be a witch, which that really bothers some people. I actually had a video, Catholic witchcraft on my YouTube, and that was the only video I've ever had to mute the comments because it just got so ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I'm sure. People get very angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so witchcraft is essentially just harnessing different energies and working with these different energies to create an outcome that you want. And it can be, there's folk witchcraft, folk magic. There's all different types of magic that you can do. And it's very personalized to your own path and your own life. And there's not really kind of like set rules that you need to follow like in a religion. I don't know. Did that explain it?
Yes. That was
so completely.
So very succinct. When did you sort of delve into that and kind of what drew you? Because from my understanding, you grew up Catholic. Am I right in that one?
Yeah, my mom's side of the family is Catholic, and my dad's side is Lutheran. And I spent a lot of time with both my grandmas growing up, and so I went to church a lot with my Catholic grandma and my Lutheran grandma. So the Bible and God and all of that was very much the root of my upbringing. And I did notice, I see comments. Paige says she practices witchcraft, but she doesn't identify as a witch. So yeah, that is true too. Not everybody who practices magic claims the title of witch. I chose actually just a handful of years ago to openly say, like, yes, I am a witch, because I was kind of like reclaiming the power behind that, and to help remove the stigma. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I am a witch, but I'm not gonna eat your children. Like, let me take that power back with that word. So yeah, just because you practice witchcraft doesn't mean that you identify as a witch.
I love this whole I love this explanation, because I feel like even just prayer is just a little bit of witchcraft. It's like there's so many rituals and so many things in religion in general that's just a little bit of witchcraft.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean,
it's all just different
Catholic,
words.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Catholicism is all ritual and magic.
Exactly.
It teaches you ritual and magic to grow up.
I mean,
Catholic.
so much. Look at you blow out your candles on your birthday cake every year by making a wish. Hi, like that could be considered magic.
Yeah.
It's all just so much. I think we're just all kind of talking about the same thing. We're just giving it different labels and words and going about it different ways, but it's all this energy, essentially.
And what kind of drew you in? Because as I recall from listening and all of those things, you started practicing reasonably younger, like late teens kind of thing. I'm just kind of curious as to what drew you, and what was that exposure like?
Well, I've always been interested in like anything a little more obscure. And, growing up in the Catholic Church, that is very much, I still love going to Catholic churches, just the ambiance of it, lighting the prayer candle and all of that. I like just that ritual of that routine.
Do you love Easter Vigil? Easter Vigil is my favorite.
Is it? I love Christmas Eve Mass. I love it.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, Easter Vigil.
All the frankincense and
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's a lot of not good with the church, but I mean,
I'm not
you never noticed? Yeah, there's
What? Crazy.
But yeah, so I've always been interested in this kind of stuff. But again, growing up with religious grandmas, I was always like, oh, witches, terrible, magic, not good. But I did get my first tarot deck when I was 13, and so that was kind of, I guess, my gateway into witchcraft. I remember trying to read tarot in the hallway in middle school, and I got in trouble, and they told me I can't bring that to school anymore.
I love that.
Yeah. But it wasn't until I was 18 that I found a book at a bookstore. I was looking up dream interpretation, and back then the mystical, metaphysical section was like this big. And I saw a book about witchcraft, and something made me pull it out, and I just opened it up, and the first page I opened it to was what witches are and what witches are not. And it kind of had a breakdown of basically everything that I thought a spiritual path should be. I was like, that's because I always questioned Christianity.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being in Bible school in the summer and asking the priest and pastors questions like, well, what about this? And they wouldn't know how to answer sometimes.
Yeah,
it just never made sense. But then, seeing this list, and I was like, wait, so witches don't all worship the devil. They're not all just out to curse and hex you and steal your children and all these things. And I was like, okay. So I did buy the book, and that started my whole
And what was the
witchcraft
name
journey.
of this book? Who was the author?
It was Raven. It was actually some of their this was a late 90s, early 2000s book, and now some of those can kind of be a little problematic sometimes in some aspects.
I mean,
but it was Silver Raven Wolf, and I can't remember now. I think it was to ride a silver broomstick, or it might have even been Teen Witch. It was one of those.
Yeah, I remember those.
It was one of those.
So
that
we had
started my whole
Sanctuary
journey.
Crystals growing up, just the place that you went for all of this, the store, and it was just magical, and it really opens you up to this amazing world once you start getting exposed to it and saying this is, and you have all the books, and I remember Silver Raven Wolf. I remember that. I remember those books. It's amazing.
So what I really liked about what you've talked about before, and I'm hoping that you kind of speak to it a little bit here, is that, and you talked about it in your first book, which was A Witch's Guide to Ghost Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you believe that witchcraft and ghost hunting have a lot of similarities and a lot of things that, they work together really well. I was wondering if you could possibly explain that a little bit, because that was an interesting concept to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the key concepts of witchcraft is you're working with different energies. You're getting familiar with different energies and what energies work together. I mean, if you are a good practicing witchcraft practitioner, you are trying to familiarize yourself with these different energies and what works and what doesn't. And then a lot of the time you are like dealing with nature spirits, or you may be dealing with different deities like Hecate or just the god and goddess in general. Spirit communication. And then you're ghost hunting, paranormal investigating, you're dealing with different energies and entities. You're trying to communicate and you're trying to create an outcome when you go on an investigation. And so in that aspect, they're very similar. And so it made so much sense to me to like, well, why not bring the same practices that I use to connect with that nature spirit when I'm out in the woods? Why not bring that kind of stuff into the ghost hunting, and vice versa too? I mean, I bring, like when I'm doing tarot readings for myself, sometimes I'll run the spirit box just to see if anything comes through, maybe from like my spirit guides or something, just some extra information. So they totally overlap. At the end of the day, it's you're trying to connect to different energies and entities. With ghost hunting and with witchcraft, you are working with different entities and energies.
Now, of course, I got to ask the question, maybe not of course, you would have no idea about this, but me, I know that I have to ask the question. So we're dealing with you're welcome. We're dealing with all of the ghost stuff, but you're also talking about being out in nature, and that's something that I very much liked about you. There were a couple of posts that you made about lessons that autumn can teach us, and as somebody who deals with significantly more depression during the autumn, that was a nice thing to see. So in talking about nature and being in these outdoor places and the energy and all of those things, how do you feel about Bigfoot?
I love Bigfoot. Bigfoot is my favorite cryptid ever. I love Bigfoot. That's my buddy. And I definitely believe Jenny. Bigfoot is real.
It was a big switcheroo, but what I'm really asking is, the outside sort of cryptids or energies, the fae, all of those things, where does that fall into your belief system or what you've been exposed to, I guess?
Could you expand on that or
yes.
That for me?
Do you feel those presences as well? Or like, do you feel sort of, the presence of something maybe not of this world out in the woods that has nothing to do with like a spirit or a ghost, the remains of like a human being? Do you feel those things because you are so connected to nature and you are so connected to more earth and energy and all of those things?
Yeah, definitely. Very rarely have I felt what I thought was a human spirit presence out in nature. But I have absolutely felt different types of nature entities, or the fae. And I think it's really, I encourage all paranormal investigators to really, and I talk about it in my book, The Witch's Guide to Ghost Hunting, of like putting yourself into these different environments and just trying to see what you can feel in that environment. Because by opening myself up when I've been in nature and kind of noting like, okay, this definitely feels like there's some sort of nature-y type energy here, I've then felt that same energy on investigations where we're getting kind of like weird responses through the spirit box or doing the Estes method. And it's like, okay, this doesn't quite sound like a human responding. And then I get that same feeling that I've had in the woods before. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a nature spirit. Like, I think we're talking to something from the land here, not like a human from the building's history. So
I never
yeah,
would
that's
have considered that. Like,
yeah.
that would even be a thing. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so.
Oh my gosh, I've had what I believe to be aliens come through.
Oh, I want to know about that.
We're in now.
I love it. Like you hear like weird like almost like cartoonish aliens, so like the beep beep boop boop beep beep, beep like weird stuff coming through the.
They're fun.
When you're doing
right?
Estus, yeah.
So fun.
They're very matter of fact. They're very like there's almost like no emotion to it. They're just like this is it. This is my answer.
Okay,
so
but I need
fun.
an example of that. What is their matter of fact answers that you've gotten? come through?
Spock.
Like
Anything
yeah.
Spock ever says.
Yeah, they just don't like sugarcoat anything, or they're it's just it's almost like their responses to and the energy behind it is like like you're like frustration, like if you're dealing with an annoying child who just keeps asking you why
Jesus Christ,
yeah, and
yes.
it's almost like you can see them like, oh my god, okay, because like listen, you
Why
saw
are you
wow.
not getting this? It's so simple.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
they have,
That's
like,
exactly
like
how
a
they should talk
spaz
to us.
I'm like, oh my god.
You stupid
Yeah.
humans.
And then they're usually gone pretty quick if you don't understand what they're saying. They're gone.
I love them so much.
I
I love
know.
it.
This is great. This is even better. This is even better than anything.
I'm overwhelmed with joy right now. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I love
That
it.
makes so much sense to put yourself in different areas, especially not just different like abandoned buildings or different sorts of things, but in general different environments to see what it feels like.
Mhm.
You got some good stuff going on, lady. You got
Yay,
some
thank
good stuff going on. Well, just interesting to me. I don't
Yeah.
want
Absolutely. Come on, get
to.
out
Yeah,
of here.
yeah, so interesting.
I love it.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about a little bit. Now, switching back to your book, The Witch's Guide to Ghost Hunting, you spend a fair amount of time in there. That one.
Oh, you mean this book right here? This one?
That one? I don't know.
Fascinating.
What? You do spend a lot of time talking about how to protect yourself and how to protect your energy, which is so huge and something that I never thought of. I don't do the ghost investigations. I don't do the ghost hunting. Very rarely am I in these places, but it's just stuff that doesn't occur to me until after the fact where I go, oh, what should I do here?
Ooh, did I do something wrong?
Whoops.
Have you ever had something attached to you or have something kind of follow you out someplace and that's why you spend so much time sort of not warning people, but I guess telling people how to deal with that?
Yeah. Well, I always say, even if you're not doing any sort of spirit communication or anything, just there's a lot of people in the world and a lot of people who project their energy into the world. So any sort of energetic protection is good, whether you're ghost hunting or not. I mean, if you're going to go to the grocery store, it doesn't hurt to like take a selenite wand and wave it over your aura to kind of just strengthen your energy before you deal with humans.
I mean, come on. Humans are the
there's-
scariest part of all
They
of this.
are.
Yeah.
They
Come on.
are.
Yeah.
Give me, nature, spirits, aliens, Bigfoot, any day, ghosts. Yeah, humans are a little scary.
I think we're working on your next book right now, is The Witch's Guide to Protecting Yourself Against Jerks.
Right? Yeah. Not the ghosts, the human jerks. Yes, definitely. But yeah, usually, I mean, and I talk about that in the book as well, of just kind of like energetic maintenance of just simple things that you can do every single day to kind of keep your energy protected and cleansed. And so there's not a ton that I really do like after an investigation. I usually just say, you're not allowed to follow me home. You're not allowed to attach to me. Like, peace out, I'm leaving. You can't come. And that usually works. However, a handful of years ago, I did do an investigation at the West Virginia Penitentiary. Didn't think about protections or anything. I didn't tell anybody that they weren't allowed to follow me home afterwards. And it was a few weeks after I'd gotten back from that investigation. Just my energy was so wonky and kind of all over the place. I was clumsy. I was a little more grumpy and agitated than normal. And my friend even mentioned, she was like, wait, didn't you do that investigation recently? I was like, I bet you I brought somebody home with me. So I did like meditate for a little bit and I was like, yeah, I can feel some energy that's not mine. I pulled some cards and I was like, okay, I brought somebody home with me. So I went out into the woods and I did a little severing ritual and sent him on his way. I don't know where he went, but he didn't come back with me. So
Yeah, that's all that matters.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I definitely make sure to tell spirits that they're not allowed to come home with me.
Totally
I
get it. You don't
Yeah.
have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
I have a question about protecting yourself, because when we were in Glambula doing the whatever asylum ghost hunt, they're like, if you have any protection medallions, jewelry, whatever, you need to get rid of it. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get any readings. So is there like, I don't know, a tier of protection that you need? Because if you're just like a flat, don't touch me, you're not going to get any readings at all? Or is it, you know what I'm asking without asking, right?
I think I do. I think I do.
Also, I will say, though, they also specified if you're not using it for protection, then don't worry about it.
Right.
So is it the crystal or is it your intention? That matters.
It could be both.
They specified
It could be
intention.
both. I mean, because you could go into a location with no jewelry, crystals, nothing. Like, I mean, naked if you wanted, and that was permitted, I guess.
Get that on the schedule,
Yeah.
Jenny.
Something I've never done.
All right, again, I'm taking notes. We'll be planning our naked
First
paracon
time for
soon.
everybody. But I mean, as long as your
It'll be
intention
very
was
popular.
naked paracon, that's definitely a selling point.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't wanna do that. I'm out.
No, thank you.
I would not be going, but
No.
But
no.
enjoy, everybody.
I guess it isn't a good gimmick, and everything is a gimmick nowadays. So, I don't even know what I was saying. Now you guys threw. I'm just picturing
right, we
these
threw that in there.
paracons with
Is
everybody
it the
in their
crystal
birthday
or
suit.
is it the
Okay,
intention
yes.
or is it both?
Your intention is what matters the most at the end of the day. You don't need any tools or anything. Your intention is what matters. The tools just kind of like help to boost the energy. I think they also help to give a physical like anchor point to your intention. A lot of people kind of struggle with that. I mean, myself included. We're humans. We're tangible physical beings. And so it helps for us to be like, yes, this crystal protects me and I can see it, I can hold it, I can touch it. And that's kind of a physical visual reminder. Whereas if you just go in there like, I'm setting the intention that I'm protected, part of your brain may be like, okay, well, I can't see that. I can't touch that. So how do I know that I'm being protected right now? But yeah, at the end of the day, it's your intention that truly matters.
And I do want to know the difference between like saying, you know, hey, like we don't bring anything protection in with you, but also but also be protected.
Yeah, I think you can be too protected. I had a friend and she was very frustrated because I told her from day one, I'm like, you are psychic as hell. Like, you are extremely psychic. And she's like, I don't think I am. I don't know. I'm like, no, you are. But she had put up such a wall around herself because for so long she was kind of like afraid of it almost. Of like, what will I see? What will I experience if I like lower that down and I actually let myself see and experience things? And so she worked really hard on kind of trusting her intuition and to break down those walls. So like we went on one investigation and she was the only one not like seeing anything, or we'd be like, do you hear those footsteps? And she's like, I don't hear any, like, what are you guys talking about? Because she had blocked herself so much. But finally, yeah, she kind of broke down those walls and now she does hear things and see things. So yeah, I think you can kind of protect yourself too much almost. There's a nice balance of like, let me create this boundary while also letting myself be open to experiences.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
So leading into also taking things home with you, let's talk about your brand new book.
Oh, you mean this one right here?
Yes, I do mean that one right there.
I just had it laying around, you know.
Just whatever.
Fantastic.
Just whatever. And
Just here.
Yeah. It's just a little something that is highly intriguing to me, which is A Witch's Guide to Haunted Objects, which just sounds fascinating.
Thank you.
Absolutely sounds. I know. It sounds so cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I did order it. I have not read it yet. I ordered it on Amazon, which you can find your books on Amazon. All of them. In fact, there's 2 workbooks as well. I have questions about later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, tell us all about the book.
Yes, please.
So, it's kind of a continuation of The Witch's Guide to Ghost Hunting, but it specifically focuses on haunted objects. So it has included in it some of my own investigations with haunted objects. I have stories that others submitted to me that I included, their own personal encounters with these haunted objects, and also just kind of more famous haunted objects, if you will, or other stories that I have just heard throughout the years. But then it also, of course, since it's the Witch's Guide, it has the witchy element. So it includes how to read tarot to connect to the haunted object and kind of get the history of the haunted object or get to know the spirit that's attached to it. There's a section on using a pendulum to help find your new haunted object. Like if you go to an antique store, you can use a pendulum to help you pinpoint which object might be haunted. And of course, protection stuff.
What would be the benefit of finding your own haunted object? That's my question.
Well, some people love it. They want it. They like the interaction. It's like, bring home your own pet ghost. I don't know. I mean, because I think it's just more accessible than, to go to a lot of these locations. They are a little more costly. Some of them are far away from where people are. And so kind of by bringing a haunted object into your room, you're getting to investigate and have that encounter and experience with a spirit without having to pay, a lot of money to go to a location. So I think that's why some people like it.
But
it terrifies me.
Yeah. That sounds
It absolutely
scary.
terrifies me. 1,000%. Did anybody watch The Unbinding?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the same guys who did Hellier, just a little history on it. Yes, the series that if you have not seen it, go check it out. It's the same people who did that. They also have a tour that they bring these haunted objects around, but they did an unbinding, which was their process of dealing with a haunted object that was causing all sorts of mayhem and trying to release that spirit back into wherever it came from. Home, I guess. I don't know. But that was interesting too. She, I believe that the woman in that also practices witchcraft.
Dana?
And had some interesting looking rituals, which I didn't understand at all.
She's a lot more, well, I don't want to speak for her because I don't know her personally, but it seems like she does a lot more of the almost like ceremonial rituals. I'm a little more of like, I guess chaotic. Just kind of like, I'm very centered. I know what I'm doing in my brain, but from the outside, it just is a little more like, let me put this together and like.
Listen, if you're gonna judge me by how I look when I'm doing stuff,
right?
I'm always gonna look chaotic.
Exactly.
I mean, it probably is chaotic anyway, but it's gonna look that way too.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It works.
Yes.
Everybody practices magic a little differently. But yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, very cool, and that was a terrifying documentary.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that's one haunted object I would not have wanted in my home.
No.
Well, now we all have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, you do. It's good. It's absolutely good.
Tell me, because I think I remember what that was. What was the object that was haunted that they were releasing?
It was like an old carved wooden totem doll. That had binding nails and
and it kept screaming.
Go near that.
Yeah, you shouldn't touch it. They're like, we're gonna take it
you
home.
Just leave alone. Yeah,
just leave that where you saw it.
That's fine.
We're gonna take it home and do some tests on it and do all these. No, that seems leave it in. No, leave it be. Yeah, leave it be. So anyway, if you want to know how to find your own haunted and terrifying doll,
they're not all terrifying. They're not all scary.
You can read the book.
Yeah, you can read the book. I think most of the ones in the book are a little scary, but not all of them are.
Just a little.
Not every haunted object is terrifying.
Hey, real quick, you guys, we're going to take a quick 4-second break where all you guys shut up, okay? Hey, we're back from that break we took. Hey, everybody, you're back.
Welcome back. You know what? I would like to hear if you have any stories of a not terrifying haunted object.
Oh.
Anything that just is not terrifying.
Just something cute. That does
Something
cute things.
cute.
Yeah. Yeah, or nice.
Okay.
Meaningful.
One of there's my friend, she talks about her painting that she acquired in the book. And it's not scary. It's just more like what's going on. Like she's smelled like phantom smells ever since she brought the painting home. She's heard like footsteps and stuff. Her cat was acting weird. And pretty much she just gave the spirit of the painting, I think she gave them water, just like a cup of water, and was like, here, peace offering. Like, you can hang out and you can stay, but like, don't freak out my cat and don't do anything weird to me, and we're good. And she hasn't, as far as I know, she hasn't had anything like scary happen. She hasn't been scratched or had bad dreams or anything like that. She's also an investigator, though, so you know, somebody else may hear the random footsteps and that may really freak them out, but she's just like, oh, that's the spirit. Okay. Like,
That's
and goes about her day.
harmful. That's just nice.
Right.
Yeah, he's just hanging
It's
out.
my roommate.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's terrifying, though. The painting is horrifying.
Oh.
But I guess I should say it's just super unsettling. It's very unsettling.
Okay, what does it look like?
This
Describe
is taking
it.
a
We all
turn.
need to be exposed to this.
It's in the book. I can
Yes.
try to find it. It's a creepy. It's all done in like shades of green.
Oh.
And it's just the man on it. Oh, it's kind of a dark. It doesn't show up that great in.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
So
That's a whole lot of no.
everybody not watching along with us. So it's just black and white in the picture, but I hear it's in shades of green, which sounds horrible.
And his eyes are like
And
this
it's
super
eyes-
light.
Mhm.
No definition to the eyes, and just
Potato man
it
with
kind of
glowing
reminds
eyes.
me like of Robert the Doll a little bit.
Yeah,
like for
I can
structure,
see that.
Mhm.
and just empty eyes.
Do not
So
care
is-
for it.
It's I don't know how his eyes are both like completely empty, but also extremely piercing at the same time.
yes,
Yeah.
And now that I'm looking,
Because-
okay, he is pretty freaky. Like
it's
that is kind of
horrible.
terrifying.
Nope.
But hey,
So-
his spirit isn't horrifying. It
His
seems.
spirit appreciated
So-
the water offering.
Yeah,
and he just
and
walks
he's
around
like-
now. So it's
Yeah, he
great.
just wanted somewhere to hang out. So
Cool. Would anyone else be covering that with a towel? Like, hey, you can hang out, but I can't look at this
yeah,
anymore.
I can't look at this at night when you get up to go to the bathroom or
Yeah.
something. Like
You're going to
don't-
live in the closet.
Yeah.
We
Like,
care
when
about
she
you. We
acquired
like
it,
you.
was she like, I like this painting, or did she know it was haunted and she thought that was the good idea?
She said she just found it at a thrift store and it was only like $2.99 or something, and she was felt intrigued enough by it
That's
that
a
she
deal.
was like, $2.99, why not? And she brought it home, and she didn't bring it home like with the intention of this thing's haunted. Like she
Right.
brought it home, and I mean, pretty much whenever you acquire something like older, or secondhand, or creepy, you know, as an investigator, there is that thought of like maybe it's haunted. But she hung it up, and yeah, she didn't think anything of it until she kind of started having these little weird experiences, and then she kind of put two and two together. So
Listen, I love antiques. I have a lot of antique frames that are surrounding artwork and just hanging on the walls. Just all sorts of antiques and weird little objects. Not a once have I been creeped out by one and been like, you know what? You're coming home with me.
I know.
I don't know if I can say the same. If I see something creepy, especially a painting, I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah,
You
and then
bring it
you'll
home.
complain
Oh.
about it to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So do you have a haunted painting then?
No, I do not.
No.
But I will welcome it. It's fine. I have room.
You're opening this floodgate, you know that, right?
I don't want demons. I just want a buddy. That's all. It's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All
There you
right.
go.
Problem.
We'll work on that.
You
We'll
might
hit
just
some antique
already have a
stores.
buddy, right, in your basement, so you don't
It's
need a
possible.
painting.
You have a basement buddy? Oh,
I don't like him. I feel like he
no.
watches me do laundry, and it's weird.
You know what? Give him a cup of water and say, hey, you know,
Oh.
you can hang out in the basement, but can you not watch me while I'm doing laundry, please? Thanks.
Thank
Maybe
you. I will
he's
do
like
that.
Dobby and he just wants a sock.
Oh, he's just waiting for
He's
his
got
sock.
so many. There are so many loose socks all over the basement.
But did
What are
you
talking
hand
about?
him one
Give it.
directly?
I know.
No.
Did you say this is yours?
I did
Yeah,
not.
you didn't. You better
Maybe
try
give
that.
him a sock and a cup of water.
Do that
Yeah.
after the
See how
show
that goes.
at almost midnight.
I feel like maybe he wants some goldfish too.
I have plenty.
There
Wait,
we go.
Crackers or actual goldfish?
No, the crackers.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, you have plenty of goldfish?
I don't know. You
That's
guys know what your
weird.
I do. I
I
have
don't know what
plenty
your
of
hobbies
goldfish.
are. Like,
Who's walking
I
around
do.
with all these goldfish?
I mean, I keep them
yeah,
out
over
back.
here.
They're out back.
I've got a pond. It's fine.
That's
They're out
fine.
back.
I just really like carnivals. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
I do.
love it.
Yeah. All right, so now that we've decided that not only is Tressa going to come camping with me at one point in time, but we're also now going to go to antique stores after we purchase this book and find out how to find these objects.
Yes,
I love
100%
it. Please
we
do,
are.
and let me know how it does.
Yeah.
We're going to do that.
We'll do a live all about it, and it'll be irritating and very boring. You're welcome, everybody.
Yay!
Cheers. Now, I also saw, because I do want to touch on the fact that, and I hope you guys do too, the spiritual side of things and the healer side of things, because you have this huge long list of like healing credentials that I was noticing. And then I did notice on the Amazon, now there's 2 other books, right?
Yeah, I kind of forget about those sometimes because I wrote those like 100 years ago. When you first said that, I was like, wait, what?
100 years
I know.
ago. Are you a vampire too?
Don't tell my secrets.
I know, you scared me, and I was like, "Oh no, is that the same person?" Because
No,
they're
is,
like
yeah.
in there.
No, it is. Yeah, so it's called The Goddess Life. I used to have a podcast by the same name, and that's when I wrote that book. And it's kind of just a daily inspiration. You can either like read page by page, or you can just kind of flip it open to see what is on the page and what you may need to hear that day. But there's like quotes, and there's affirmations and journaling prompts and things like that. Just kind of a nice way to integrate into your daily spiritual practice if you want.
I like that a lot, like a journal.
Mm-hmm. And then actually that's what the second one is. It's called the Sacred Journal, and it's where you can write your journal stuff. There you go. Good selling point. No, at the beginning of it, it does kind of talk about like the importance of creating like a sacred space for yourself, and the benefits of journaling and that sort of thing. So to encourage you to journal daily and to kind of just connect with yourself spiritually every day.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you leave like these ghost investigations and things and do your cleansing, I'm assuming, and do you write about this stuff? Do you write about like the emotions and things that might pop up for you, like during the actual ghost investigation?
Like in the book, do I write about that?
No, just in general. Just in general. It's another random
not
question.
Really. I mean, I
These are just
probably
popping in.
should. I probably should. I would like to start writing more of after I get done with an investigation, because I've noticed I don't do that a lot. And there is a lot of emotions that kind of come up on investigations, whether it's connecting to the energy of the location or the spirits, or sometimes the things that may be brought up affecting yourself as well. Yeah, there's kind of a lot that can come up with investigations and the different energies that you're dealing with.
That's crazy. One place that I know that Kara's super interested in that you did a series, like a show on, is Indiana State
Sanatorium.
Sanatorium.
Yes. That is the best haunted location I've ever been to, ever. I mean, there's some really great ones out there, but Indiana State Sanatorium just has my heart. It's an amazing location, but then also when I investigated it for the first time, I was one of the first few groups that got to go in there and investigate. And so as an investigator, that was like an amazing opportunity, because most of the time you're going to these locations that like everybody's investigated for years now. And so to go into this place that really hadn't been touched by paranormal investigators, that was such a crazy opportunity. But then on top of it, that place is so incredibly active. I've had the most active investigations ever. I've been there like 4 or 5 times now. And then, I did do a documentary, Haunted Indiana State Sanatorium, on Tubi.
Nice.
And
shout out to Tubi, the best streaming platform.
Right?
Come on, you
I
guys.
love Tubi.
Get into Tubi.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And the first thing you should watch is the documentary that I'm in. But yeah, that location it's amazing. I mean, disembodied voices, you hear things, the feelings that you feel. I mean, I almost got brought to tears during one of the investigations. It's one of the few times that I physically had to leave the location and go out, or the building, and go outside. And I literally had to like touch a tree and do some breathing because the energy was so intense.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot happening at that location. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, Kara, what was your experience?
No, when I got to go, I've only gotten to go one time so far. We unfortunately did just the good old drive down, have dinner, and go. Think we're going to be there all night long, and then realize we're driving home for 3.5 hours after this. So it was a little tinged by, I can only keep describing it as, it's so far away that that memory has faded a little bit. Now I'm ready to go back, but I'm like, next time we're sleeping there, we are not driving home immediately. I'm not waking up at 7 a.m. and then driving down. Oof. It was a lot. I didn't drive. I talk about it like I did any of the driving. I didn't. But,
hey, it's still a lot even being in the car.
I packed things. It was a lot of work. No, it was. So we went with a big group, and it was. It was so cool. I just went pretty recently for the first time. So by then, you say you got to go before everybody got to investigate. I got to go after everybody and their brother has investigated there. So it's maybe a little bit of a different vibe. I went in, being told to go to certain areas and, but there is even one, Nick Sarlo, one of our, friends said, okay, on this floor in the hospital, I turned around and took a picture. So I was like, all right, well, I got to turn around and take pictures. Am I going to see what he got in the picture? Yeah, I definitely, just as we're going down the stairways, got like a picture of a silhouette, just a really clear, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Cause he literally said, do that. And I did. And I got something, or even I got on tape, and you could just, it's so quiet though, cause it's just with my phone holding it, definitely, just a clear, voice, really close. And I was like, oh, wait, no, I really said, oh, somebody else is down here. No, they weren't, so definitely some really clear stuff. Of course, I am a big wuss around bats. So those really big bats in the tunnels, they're big. There's cute frogs in the pool. So no, I can't wait to go back and actually like spend some time. It was like, I just say like I was exhausted and hot and just kind of overwhelmed, right? Like I wish we had more time during the day to look around and just get a sense of it instead of it just all being at night and it being really hot. So I can't wait to go back. I think it's one of those places that you need to go.
Well, you guys want to come. I want to go. My birthday's in December and I want to go back. I haven't been there for 2 years now.
What's your birthday?
December 18th.
21. Let's go.
What? Oh,
birthday trip.
On the
birthday
trip. Your birthday's on
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. No one recognizes
a full moon
that.
or a new moon on that around that time. That'd be amazing. I'm looking on my phone right now.
Are you guys going to be best friends now? Because
I think so.
Hi, Jenny.
I feel like it should. I know.
Did we just become best friends?
Oh my god! I got
we could
kicked
talk
out.
about a weekend in December for real. We could do that.
Yes,
oh, absolutely. We're totally in.
Yeah, and it's cheaper during the winter too because it is pretty damn cold. It's
sure.
A little chilly.
Sure.
But yeah,
we can build like fires inside and stuff, right? They don't mind that.
Oh, totally, sure. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. I'm in.
Actually, when you went, did you go into the nurses' station?
Yeah.
Did you happen to see on one of the tables in the nurses' station? It was like a square thing, and it's probably super faded now, but there was like a sigil on it in little crystals.
No. I did not notice.
Okay. I don't know if it's even still there. Other people may have like taken it down. I would hope that they didn't, and it didn't make it into the documentary. But when we were there before we left, me and the two other investigators that I was with, we did a ritual for the spirits there because a lot of them just feel very alone and confused and scared. And so we did a ritual of creating kind of just a safe bubble space in that nurses' station that any spirits could come into to feel safe and protected. And I was so bummed that didn't make it into the documentary because that was like such a major part of our time there.
That's so sweet.
So I hope that it's still there. But so yeah, when I go back, I definitely want to kind of like, touch up.
Yeah,
that
full
sacred
disclaimer,
space.
I did not spend much time there because there was a huge group of us there. We went, it was a big event. But it's such a huge place that you really can just kind of like, even in the hospital, we were by ourselves in the hospital, just my like friend group. So once we got to that nurses' station, I was like, oh, this is cool. There were so many people there. Everybody wanted to be at the nurses' station. I was like, good enough, new building. And so it might still be there because I just didn't spend time there.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to see.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For our birthdays.
I love it. Love it.
That's amazing. I didn't even think about that because you do have such a, resume, I guess, in the healing thing. So clearly that's very important. But also that you then go into places where spirits are disturbed or there's hurt and anger and all of those things. That's got to be pretty intense for you.
Yeah, it can be. And I try to bring the same compassion and understanding that I do to living people to spirits as well. I'm very big on showing respect. You can set boundaries where needed with some spirits, for sure they need it, but also like showing that respect. And a lot of the time too, especially when you are going to places like a nursing home, a hospital, there's a lot of trauma there, and it's, you got to acknowledge that. And I really just try to kind of like listen to the spirits, or even just be kind of like a calming, comforting presence for them, in hopes that I leave the location better than when I arrived, or that maybe like even just for a brief moment they felt heard or appreciated or something.
Especially with asylums, I feel like that's so
wow.
important, and like people don't even consider it so many times.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear people that are just like, let's just have empathy for these, whatever. I love that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
don't a lot for these spirits. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, we hear about like the gathering of evidence and getting the evidence, but every so often we hear someone talking about, and Dave does it all the time, talks about helping the spirits and trying to bring comfort or a sense of release or something to them. But yeah, that always warms my cold little heart.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
So good.
Yeah, she's cold usually.
Yeah. Usually a jerk.
Yeah.
A real so-and-so.
A real.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to kind of leave us with? I mean, we covered so much.
We did. I love it.
did.
This has been very much fun. I'm so glad
good.
so glad Dave lost his voice. No, I'm kidding. That's awful.
Yeah.
Same.
It really is. Yeah.
Get out of
Bummer.
So sad. Wink.
Oopsies.
No, I do. That does suck. But I am glad that he suggested me for you guys, because this was awesome.
same.
And now we're gonna get to go investigate and
Yes.
all kinds of awesome stuff. Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know.
What
That's all I got.
What about you guys? I've been talking forever. You
know
guys.
what? I was just going to say, tell us the name of your book so everybody knows they're going to find them, where they're going to find them, where on Tubi. Just give everybody a good chance to recap. Where are they going to find you?
You can find The Witch's Guide to Haunted Objects and The Witch's Guide to Ghost Hunting on Amazon. And then Haunted Indiana State Sanatorium is on Tubi. And then I am most active on Instagram and TikTok, CheriseWilliams.xo.
That is fantastic. Yeah, and check out the website. That's interesting as well.
Oh, my website?
Yeah.
I need to revamp that, because it's. I'm like, wait, I have a website? CheriseWilliams.com.
Clearly, I looked at the right spot.
No, it is. It's pretty up to date.
And one question we have from Dave, because he's still chiming in during our episode.
Woo!
He's still here with us.
Aw,
Cherise,
hi, Dave.
do you find the way you sense spirits has changed a lot on your journey?
Ooh. Yes, I would say so. When I first began investigating, it was just much more of the like, what can I hear? Any footsteps or banging? Am I getting an EVP? Like, is this equipment lighting up? It was just much more like outside of myself. And now I rely much, much more on just my intuition, the feelings that I'm getting. More often than not, the tool that I'm taking out is my tarot cards, which again, that is a physical tool, but it's also connecting me to my intuition and to the energy of the spirits and the location. So it's definitely, I've gotten more reliant on my intuition, which I like.
Yeah.
That I feel is much stronger than other equipment that I've used.
It
yes.
is. Yeah. No, that's I
100%.
found in my journey. Yeah. It's no interesting for a long time. I would feel things and I would, and I would go, okay, whatever. But no, that's part of the evidence. That is part of what you're finding, and to actually, trust that and address that, that's critical.
Exactly. And then it makes it even more fun than when you're like already feeling something and then you get a word or a phrase on the spirit box or an EVP and it's like, like confirmation. Yeah, that's what I was feeling or that's what I was picking up on.
Oh,
like,
I'm obsessed with like verification.
Right?
Yeah, something.
Or then after you leave the location and then you find out a little bit of history and you're like, oh my God, that's the man I was picking up on in that room. Like, yeah, I love that.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And everybody, that's one thing I do want to say. Everybody has intuition. So many people are like, I have no intuition. I have no psychic bone in my body. Yeah, you do. It's just some people, it comes a little more naturally than others. And some people really kind of have to work on it. But everybody has intuition. And so even if you don't think that you do, if you're on an investigation and you're getting the feeling that like, maybe I should go into this room, follow it. Or maybe you're like, okay, for some reason, I just pictured a woman in my head. Like maybe you're actually picking up on the spirit that's there. Like follow that. Start shifting your questions to addressing the woman that maybe you are picking up on. And I think a lot of people would be really surprised if they really kind of just start following their intuition.
That's amazing.
Before Kara reads Dave's other question, I got a question about like, signs. Say you see like the smallest, but like that just seems like a little too familiar. Like maybe I should pay attention to that. How often are you like looking at signs and be like, yeah, I think that I'm on the right path, or yeah, I think that I need to get out of here? How is that for you? Like, how deeply do you follow your intuition?
My intuition kind of just guides literally everything in my life. Everything in my life. Like if something doesn't feel right to me, like I don't do it. Or and that can be difficult too. And I've been asked a lot, well, how do you differentiate between anxiety and your intuition? Because I have both.
Yes. Hello. Thank you. You're human.
And I mean, I think even if you don't have like anxiety, we do get anxious sometimes.
Sure.
And at least for me, I hear in my head, like I know not everybody, which I recently learned over the last few years that not everybody has that internal voice, which that blew my mind.
Isn't that weird?
To find that out. Yeah, I was like, what? There's just silence.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What happens?
I don't like that.
All day?
Don't you get lonely? What happens? What do you do?
How do you not
I'm
hate
constantly
yourself?
entertaining myself and
Oh
keeping
my
myself
gosh.
company. But so at least for me, my intuition is more just kind of like, it almost sounds like the aliens. It's more just like matter of fact, just kind of like, don't turn left. And it's just kind of like, there it is.
Oh.
Whereas my anxiety would be like, don't turn left. Like it's more like panicked. Like, and it kind of gives you that feeling of like, oh my gosh, okay, don't turn, like I'm scared now. Whereas intuition, it's more of just this like, don't turn left. And it's like, okay, like I'm feeling that, like it doesn't freak you out. Your intuition.
I have this is what you're going to do now. Like just it's an
I needed
clear
to hear
instruction.
that so hard because I got both of them out there and they're just like fighting. So
and it can take some time to differentiate. And there are times too where I'm like, okay, wait, like was that my intuition? Am I just paranoid and anxious right now? And so then I usually pull out my tarot cards and I'll pull like a couple cards to like see what's going on. But yeah, it takes practice to kind of listen to those two voices. But yeah, they usually sound different. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I do like that intuition is just your very smart friend and very calm and reasonable. Like,
you're smart.
It is.
Come on.
Friend.
Yeah. Just don't go that way.
You'll do
all
it.
right.
Just
You don't need that.
fine.
Yeah. Just moving along.
Yeah. And it should honestly kind of give you a sense of like when you listen to it, give you a sense of calm. Like the craziest time that I heard, like, I mean, I guess my intuition or anybody's intuition is also like your higher self. It was when I was about to get into a car accident. I was on the freeway and I'm slamming on my brakes, about to rear end the car in front of me. And I was screaming no. But in my head, I heard this is happening. And I was like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
And it was just this like, matter of fact, this is happening. Like
it's
chill.
fine.
And I was like, okay.
And
so that's the thing, like the difference between the anxiety, panicked voice literally coming out of my throat versus the more like intuition, something coming from your higher self. Just like, yeah, it's happening, but it's okay.
I want to talk about that forever.
I'm done. You guys will have to have me on again and we can talk all this stuff.
So.
Obviously.
Obviously,
we can tape the entirety of the going to the Indiana State Sanitarium.
I love it.
Yes, we will have to.
Let's do it.
It'd be good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Except for I'm very awkward in person, so.
That's
Dave wants
super
to know.
awkward.
Do you ever call upon your own guides or spirits to help bridge communication with the ghosts of a location? And if so, how does that work?
Well, Dave, to answer your question,
You're welcome.
I do call on my guides and my ancestors a lot of the time too for protection. There's been a few times that I've had to call them in to kind of like, can you help just, shield and kind of buffer what's coming through. There's been times as well that there's just a lot of communication coming through. And so I've had to ask them, can you kind of like be the bouncers? Can you only let in like a couple at a time, please? Because this is just too overwhelming. But yeah, so I do call on them a lot. My ancestors have worked hard for me throughout life.
There's your answer, Dave.
Yep. Now get out of here. No, seriously. Thank you for the questions, though. They were good questions.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
You guys, we're at the end of the hour, and this has been such a delight.
Oh, we really are.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
joining
on.
us.
Yeah, that you saved us, and also were a delight. So thank you so much.
I love it. That's gonna be my new tagline. Like, Cherise Williams, I'm a delight.
And I save
are.
people.
Yeah, that's true.
Really quick, one last question. Let me just sneak it in before we wrap it up. Ed Levin, Cherise, have you ever been to Lilydale?
I have not, but I feel like Lilydale is calling my name because I actually just thought like a week or two ago, I should try to go there sometime because I've never
Where
been.
is it?
It's in New York.
Where
at New York? I think it's Western New York because I looked it up and I was like, wait, that's actually not too terribly far from me.
It has a delightful name.
It
So
really
does.
does. So it
I
must be
say,
horrific.
because we're talking about ISS.
Oh yeah, it's less than 5 hours away from me. That's not far at all.
So what you're saying is that we're gonna come.
3.5.
We're gonna come hang out and stay with you, and then we're all gonna go to New York and see Lilydale, which I'm sure is just beautiful and filled with flowers. That's what I imagine.
That's it.
I mean,
and then we're
Lilydale.
gonna go. Yeah, then we're gonna go hit New York City, right? This is
I
how
love
this is
it.
going.
Yes,
I don't
we
want
should do that in the springtime. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, that sounds nice.
it does.
It does.
It's delightful.
Just like us, all four of us. Delightful.
Love
But
it.
we actually have to close up, you guys. Stop.
Now it's time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on all of the platforms. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and all the things at intotheobscurepodcast.com. And have a great week. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.